Hey everybody. Okay, so I recorded this once before, just like so many other videos. Now, this video was supposed to come before that Christian video. However, when I was uploading it, everything was fine. I always check my videos, making sure the file's not, messed up or anything, and it wasn't. And then I think the universe conspired a little bit and decided that it was time to put out that video. Now, this video is about the two readings I'm about to put out in the same day, the same night. And it is a reading for the divine feminine and the divine masculine. If you don't know what that is, I'm about to explain. First and foremost, though, I would like to come out and say, now I've already had a few people, you're always going to get people who don't like what you're doing, who are going to nitpick and stuff like that. That's fine. I know I'm probably going to have to grow some thicker skin, but I already have thick skin. I already do. And I know that I can't control what people do, what people, say. So I've just already released that. I have no interest in making that my responsibility. Now, coming out, I just want to say that these readings, as I proceed to keep doing these things, these readings, my intention is for you guys to become your greatest version. That at the end of these readings, at the end of it all, it is a reflection of what's going on within you. Tarot, I believe, and my intention is it's to provoke thought. It is to help us grow and look within. Sometimes we just need a mirror held up to our face. Now, whether we push that away or we embrace what that is, that's up to us individually. Now, I do feel like, listen, I watch a lot of readers and they are all wonderful and gifted. But on this channel, whatever the message is what you're going to get. And if it's not what you want to hear, then that's just the way it is. If it is what you want to hear, then you're aligned. I'm not going to sugarcoat things for you. I'm not going to, you should never make a decision based on a reading alone. You need to follow your intuition and also think logically. And I know that a lot of people are in pain and they watch tarot readings for answers, and I understand it's helped me in my process. But the biggest thing about these readings, and I've set this intention before I even started, even if love comes up, is that at the end of it all, it has to do with your personal growth as a person, as a soul, on this journey. That is my intention. So I think that's why I've avoided, not really avoided, I literally had no energy to do love readings, because I feel now, sometimes it can give us clarity about what we're already thinking, and stuff like that. But if, for example, no judgment, by the way, sometimes we just find ourselves in situations that we never thought we'd be in. If you're not happy with somebody, but you're attached to an outcome, you're making choices out of fear, that should be your first indication that you need to kind of recalibrate, go back into yourself, recalibrate without a reading. If you're in a third party situation, not a good situation to be in. If the relationship, if two people are supposed to be monogamous, if anything's kept secret. I feel like there's just some things that are absolutely logical. Okay. Now, I'm a very emotional person. Cancer sun in the 12th house. Super emotional. But that doesn't mean, I'm also, if you're not aware, Venus is how you love. It's how you, and I know that people get a bad rap for it. It's whatever. Venus in Virgo, it's a very action-based approach. It's kind of practical in a sense. And to me, it's like, I know love's complicated and it doesn't make sense sometimes, and that's fair. But there are certain situations, especially like abusive situations, that's something within yourself, as well as, you know what you need to do. But these readings are meant to, let's say you're completely unaware, you're completely, you know what I mean? Just not, it's not as in front of you as you would hope it would be. And readings, I hope these readings help you in that. I hope that they open your eyes to the best version that you can become, and how to either, whether it be break away from situations or allow situations. That is my intention. Now, with that being said, I am going to go into the divine feminine and the divine masculine and my understanding of it. Now, I do want to say, look at this cowlick though. Live. Now, what I do want to say about this, I'm really reluctant to say this word because whew, it is overly romanticized as hell, and that's twin flames. I will go over that. Soulmates, twin flames, and the difference between the two. Preferably soulmates. Not everyone is a twin flame. I know everybody's trying to hop on board and stuff like that. Now, you guys, okay, I'm just gonna have to take a deep breath, because not everybody is a twin flame. It is not easy. It's just not easy. It's just not, okay? This is the difference between the two. I'm 7 minutes in, and I haven't even begun to explain. I just kind of wanted to get that stuff out of the way. If you mind, click off this video, because that's exactly what this video is for. So, let's jump into it. So let me just start off with the divine feminine, divine masculine. Now, we all have both in it. It is not gender specific, okay? If you don't identify with any gender, then this isn't for you. I truly, support you and support that. But for those of us who do feel like we're more feminine or more masculine, it doesn't matter how you were born, that's just who you are. The actual one you were like born with is not valid, because we both have these energies within us. There is a balanced version of a divine feminine and an unbalanced version, and there is a balanced version of a divine masculine and an unbalanced one. I will make separate videos on those. Guys, I have a long list of videos I'm going to share with you. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you, fam. And I will list those imbalances and balances in those videos. But regardless, we all have both. And the balance between both is very, very important. Now, these readings could very well be about you because of the energies that are already within you. This whole that you are. That's the biggest thing, the biggest problem I have with the guys. You're going to have to bear with me. If you're a believer in the twin flame, like wholeheartedly, that's great. I know that I should probably just kind of say some things out loud, but I'm just going to say that I have my own opinions about it. It's not that I don't believe in it. It's just kind of like it's a label, and I get very uncomfortable with labels. So, but I'll explain it. Now, the twin flame journey, the one thing that I very much disagree with, that I will tell you, because I firmly believe that you are not two halves of a whole. You're supposed to be two whole people who come together in your life and kind of help each other grow and help each other, like challenge each other, love each other. When you fight nice. Like, it's just one of those things where you will clash because you reflect each other, but you're still two whole people. Now, people a lot of times like to say, oh, you're two halves of a whole. You don't feel complete without each other. And that is very codependent thinking. That's very, very unhealthy. So I want to say that out the gate. It also doesn't count for abusive relationships. I am going to point that out before I go further, because some things that are in the twin flame dynamic can be very, very abusive in nature. If you don't know how to kind of tell between the two. You know, someone coming in and out of your life just because they don't give a shit and they just want to use you because they're narcissistic or they're sociopath or something like that. That is different. That is not the twin flame journey. It's not. I don't care what they tell you. That just know between the two. Your twin flame is never going to, even though they will cause pain, particularly the runner, even though they might inflict pain, they never truly mean to. And it wouldn't be consistent. Like, you need to educate yourself on the difference between abuse and this journey. You need to trust your gut. And a lot of that is going to come from looking within yourself and seeing things about yourself, whether it be codependent behavior or whatever, because that's what you're attracting. You're attracting somebody who's either who probably will be equally codependent, no matter what side you're on, just maybe in a different costume. That's why you see a lot of codependent people with narcissists, because narcissists still need that validation. They need that validation from you. So you're two sides of the same coin. You need to know what the difference is. And until you do, don't even. And that's another thing. This is overly romanticized, this word. The twin flame journey, usually I'll just take you through some of the steps, some of the phases. When you meet your twin flame, it's instant connection. You guys just kind of know. There's just something about that person you want to get to know more. You're comfortable with them. You're like instant best friends. And speaking of that, it doesn't have to be romantic. A lot of people think of it as just strictly romance. And a lot of times it is, but it doesn't have to be. Okay? And so I will say that. But a lot of times it is romantic. Now, this person, it will be, a lot of people say, oh, it's going to happen in such a huge way. It's going to be so out of the ordinary. Look, every journey is different. The only thing I can tell you, based on personal experience as well as just general, you're just gonna know. You're instant connection. You guys are just so drawn to each other. It's almost scary. And it's weird because it may be someone that you never thought that you would be friends with. It could be somebody that you've seen before, and then all of a sudden at this certain point in time, you're just like, whoa, like, where did you come from? So that's usually how you meet. Then you go through kind of like the honeymoon stage where you can't get enough of each other. You're always together. If you do get romantic, it moves really, really fast. And so, but you reflect each other. You challenge each other. You help each other step out of your comfort zone. You may make each other very uncomfortable, which leads me to the next phase. Because there is a phase where you guys are great. Everything's great. Everything's fun. Everything's new. You almost feel reborn in a way. Or there's some kind of hope restored. And that's another thing. You might meet at a really dark time, the first time you meet. If you don't know anything about the twin flame journey, you're about to learn. Sorry guys, I get really, this is something that I haven't shared, and I've been sharing a lot of things I just haven't shared before. So it's just a process where I'm just like, wow, you almost feel crazy too, by the way, for feeling this way. You kind of feel crazy about this connection, not in the sense of oh, this is so crazy, I can't believe, it's actually, you feel legit nuts because you're like, what is this? What's going on? But it usually is a dark time in your life that you guys kind of meet, where you're not as awakened as you are in the future or even now. So then there comes a part where you're so comfortable together, but at the same time, now there's a part where you're uncomfortable and you start to kind of butt heads, and you really start to reflect darker parts of each other. And certain things within you are very much triggered by the other person. Now, there's usually a dynamic of a runner and a chaser. The runner, of course, doing what they do. They run. The connection kind of scares them. They find a reason to leave. Or, you know, within their minds, they may leave without a warning. But sometimes they let you know up front. That's where the back and forth, you know, they're so confused and they're so conflicted that they may come in and out of your life. But there is this ultimate breaking point that I believe personally that every connection like this goes through, where you just completely separate, because there is a separation period. And that's just kind of like a thing. You know, when finally there's just, that last straw that breaks the camel's back happens and you go your separate ways. You know, and the difference is, if you're anything like myself, once you're done, you're really done. If someone fucks you over and it really hurt, even if you could see your fault in it, it's just that pain, you're just fucking done. But in this connection, you may find yourself you may be really angry, really harsh. Your emotions are still just as intense as it was before. You know, you may find yourself, it could be, this separation could be years. And in this time, you are to work on yourselves. Now, I always tell people who do believe in this connection, do not work on yourself with the intention of reuniting with your twin flame. You guys came into this with an agreement, with a contract to help each other grow. And whatever push that had to be made was supposed to push you towards your personal growth, regardless of if you guys were to ever come into union. Union is extremely rare. Now, it's for some reason lately it hasn't been very rare. Apparently, a lot of people are coming into union again. And there's a lot of people who can help you come into union and everything. I, for one, kind of don't personally want to even play with that idea, because I believe everything in due time and divine timing will happen. I'm just needing to focus on myself, because I want to focus on myself. I want to love myself. I want to grow as a person, and I am. I'm growing as a person like crazy, and it will never stop. It never will stop. I have no goal in terms of or expectation in this personal. This is me. This is me every fucking day. And I feel like that's how it's supposed to be. Now, which brings me to the last phase, and that's union, which you are two completely different people, because you've learned your lessons, you've grown as people, and you unify, and you your purpose together, this contract, is to bring awareness into the world, bring awareness into each other's world, into the people around you. It doesn't have to be in a giant way, but somehow raise the vibration of those around you. And you're partners in crime, pretty much. And, you know, it's still, of course, I'm not a person that's like, I'm in union. Like, that's not me at all. I'm single. And, why did I say that out loud? Anyway, I love it. It's like announcement. No, I actually love being single, but it's going to take a very, very special person to get me out of this. But, no, so you guys are rock stars together, but it's still not an easy connection. You're still a reflection of each other. And even, I believe, in this more self-aware state, you're still going to have those headbutting moments together, because you're going to be constantly growing and reminding each other. Now, I do have a soulmate where we do that. We call each other out on each other's shit, and we're like, you right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So I know exactly what it feels like in that sense. If it is romantic, I can only imagine how it feels, which brings me into the soulmate connection. You know, there was a time where I thought one of my soulmates, she, you know, was almost a twin flame, but like, then I looked at the dynamics and it just doesn't make sense. But she is my soulmate, and soulmates, you know, you can choose. Just because you have a contract with, and that's one of the biggest things that I see, it's like, sure, you may not be able to break ties, spiritual ties with your twin flame. You may be able to. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't believe that anything's impossible. If you want to disconnect from a twin flame, you go right on ahead. I mean, do it. Try it. You never know until you try. But for the most part, what I've heard is the twin flame dynamic, it's hard to break that connection, hard to break that that soul tie, so to speak. Whereas with a soulmate, you can choose your soulmate over your twin flame. I'm just flipping my hair everywhere, so I flip. You can choose. And a soulmate, although you're still not going to have like each relationship, you got to think. In romance, you're going to be fighting the ego. You're two different people. I don't like to say fitting. You are taking both your worlds and making it work together. And that's going to come with some hardship, but you're going to have each other's backs. Open communication. Soulmates are very nice. Soulmates are really nice. And you can choose your soulmate over your twin flame. You can choose a soulmate. You don't just have one. You know, there are lots of fish. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh, that's my fish. It's like, number one, that's not your fish. You don't own anyone. But you can choose a soulmate over your twin flame. But, you know, like I said, not everyone is meant to come into union. Unless they choose to. So, man, how do I know all this? I just, this is information I've picked up on the connections. Because I know a lot of people used to ask me a lot. They're like, hey, what do you think about twin flames? What do you think about twin flame connections? And to be honest, it never really came into my mind until people started asking me. And then I started doing my research. But so when I do these readings, because I did feel led to do a divine masculine and a divine feminine reading. What I really, you know, after explaining all that shit, what I really want to say is, look, I know it's hard. If you have this kind of connection and shit just starts coming up out of nowhere, you're like, man, I didn't think about this person for years. Or maybe you just got out of, like, you just started entering that separation phase and it's extremely painful. I get it. I do. But what I really would like for you guys to know is that you are worthy of your love, your own love. You are whole. You are enough. Whether you're the runner or the chaser, you are enough. And it's really time to work on yourself, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what. And the divine feminine and masculine could be soulmates. So let's just say you may be like having some trouble. It still applies. But just know that you're whole and complete, and this is a time to work on yourself. And my intentions for these readings are so that you can look within and really face some hard truths about yourself and your reality and what might need to change within yourself so that it can reflect the outer world. And I've said it before, it is very, very important that you live from the inside out, because if you think for one damn second that if you just change everything on your outside, you have the perfect house, you have the perfect spouse, didn't mean to rhyme, you have the perfect children, you have the great car, you have all this money, or even if it's not that, if it's not like the stereotypical, if it's just like, if I could just travel all the time, if I could just make this much money, or, you know, just whatever. If you think it's anything outside of yourself, you're in for the rudest awakening you could ever think of. Because, man, it's not going to be there. And you're going to figure that out. It's better to try and figure that out earlier than later. But we all learn our own way, right? So that is what I have on the divine feminine, masculine, just a very, very brief thing, and twin flames and soulmates. I do plan to do more talks on this so that I can further explain it. Whether you believe in it or not, that's up to you. I totally get not believing in it. It's kind of, man. Anyway, I'll somehow sort my thoughts and share with you guys exactly what I think about it, based on, you know, just experiences. But anyway, I love you guys. I hope this helps you. I hope it makes sense. Please enjoy the divine feminine and masculine readings coming up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.